Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and we have gathered today to discuss a 1982 horror sci-fi movie by John Carpenter. Yes, we are talking his version of The Thing. Loosely based on the 1950s movie, The Thing from Another World, but this is his take, and he just threw every bit of money to this, and we'll see what everybody thinks about this. Starring Kate Russell in the Antarctic with this alien beast what likes to, what shall we say, take over a human body to populate the planet. So what's the saying for the film? Man is the warmest place to hide. So without further ado, we will go to Beef Dad.
I remember the 1951 film, and that for me was far more atmospheric and creepy, and it had a little bit more to it than this. I mean, with this being John Carpenter, he concentrated very, very heavily on the blood and gore and that sort of stuff. But you expect that with John Carpenter because that's what he's known for. Yeah, I love it when the Norwegians are chasing the dog and the dog ends up transforming and killing all the other dogs. It's pretty unpleasant. And of course, then they go to the Norwegian base and everybody's gone. Everybody's dead. And basically they stay there and check it all out. Yeah, not a bad performance from Kurt Russell. He didn't have to dance, which is probably good. But yeah, Wilford Brimley playing Dr. Blair, he was good too. He was very good. And yeah, the two that I really enjoyed, the two performances I really enjoyed was T.K. Carter as Knowles and Keith David as Childs, and they were just so good. They really were very good. As I say, you know, the 1951 version obviously was in black and white, and very, very creepy. This didn't have the creepiness that one had, and yeah, it was okay. There were bits where it was happening all the time. There was lots happening all over the place, all at the same time, and it got a bit annoying for me. But yeah, an interesting take on what was a very good original film.
Thanks for that, Beef Dad. I remember the 1950s version. I didn't see it at the time, but I've seen it on DVD. Yeah, the thing in that was a humanoid alien. I don't know, I could be wrong, but if I remember rightly, I think was it Ted Cassidy what played it from the Addams Family. Lurch. Wasn't it Ted Cassidy who played the Thing in the original? Looked like him. Could have been, but there I could be wrong. Let's move over to Stephen.
One of my favourite horror movies of all time, plus my dad's personal favourite. We watch this every winter. The effects in it are just amazing for the time, which is 1982. I love the part where the guy turns into his head just goes off the side of the table and he turns into a spider. I thought that was just amazing. I did watch before watching this, I did watch the prequel, which I suggest you all watch if you haven't watched it. Shows you what happens, and you can see at the end then with the beginning of the movie, the Norwegians firing at the dog. Yes, I've watched this hundreds and hundreds of times, this movie. Just love it.
Cool. So, seeing as you watch it every winter, Stephen, do you class it as a Christmas movie?
Yeah, Christmas horror movie.
Well, I thought I'd ask that because people class Die Hard as a Christmas movie, which I can't understand. Also, yeah, I totally agree as well. If you ever get a chance to watch the prequel to The Thing, it is a good movie, and it leads up to the beginning of this movie. But the only downfall for me on that one was they went sort of down the CGI route instead of doing the animatronics.
Yeah, that's
the only downfall.
That's the only problem with the prequel.
Yeah, but it's still an enjoyable movie, and it leads up straight to the beginning of this movie.
Really?
Let's go to Well, have you ever seen it, Brian?
No, I have not seen the 2011 one.
It's called The Thing.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's called The Thing 2011.
Yes, I know what
Yeah.
year, but I never got the chance to come around to it. I plan to see it.
Yeah, watch it, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Anyway, seeing as you're talking, Brian, go on then. Let's have your say.
Oh, you're gonna just come to me now, all right? John Carpenter's The Thing. I love this film. In fact, I love John Carpenter movies in itself. Everything that he's made, all the movies, I absolutely love and enjoy. He's probably my favorite horror director of all time. And I think this is probably his number one best film that he's made, other than Halloween, of course. But but John Carpenter's The Thing. I absolutely love it. I would probably say I would watch this at least maybe once every year. It is that good. Kurt Russell as the main lead is probably the absolutely amazing within the movie. In fact, when I watched this, though, from when I was just watching it like a couple minutes ago, I didn't realize one of the characters was in John Carpenter's They Live. I didn't even realize that was. I didn't even realize he was in The Thing until now. Maybe John Carpenter used him when that They Live came out, because I think that was after this. So, but I mean, I don't even know what to say next, because this film, I just love this film. This film is just the best. I absolutely enjoy it. And I never saw the original 1950s version as well.
I'll give it a watch, Brian. You'll enjoy it.
I never saw the. I never saw the.
It's not.
I never saw the 50s version. I never saw the prequel to this in 2011. So
I'm sure there's a box set of all three where you can get your hands on.
James Arness played The Thing originally.
I'm sure. And
right.
Yeah, Matt Dillon from Gunsmoke.
Yes, I checked the cast on the original one. It wasn't Ted Cassidy that played the thing in the beginning
Well,
of
you
the
know, I
movie.
said I could be wrong. I could. It's just in my head about Cassidy. So,
But yeah, anyway, that's my take upon the movie. Absolutely good, amazing film.
but yeah, what you mentioned some actors appeared in John Carpenter's movies before. Kurt Russell, he's used Kurt Russell many times. You know, just the thing, top of my head from New York, stuff like that. So we'll go now to Susan and Alex.
Yeah, if there's something wrong with this movie, I don't care. Of course, it's not as creepy as the 50s version, of course, and also the 80s version. And the 80s movies were showing more type of gore. Here, I liked it because even though it's gory, it's not super gory. It's not in your face gory. And it was funny, of course, just like a typical B movie, but a good version. Of course, the dog is the alien or part of the alien, of course. And that's part of being scary, too, that, you know, you think something's, you know, all cuddly and it isn't. So it has a great cast. I forgot about Wilford Brimley, who got known for his commercials, but he was in Cocoon. And, of course, you have Kurt Russell from Escape from New York.
And Stargate.
And Stargate, I guess. I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, even though this is a B movie, even though it is a little gory, it doesn't get that in your face about it until the end. And this is what I mean. You got a little bit of dialogue. I like some of the literary references. You got interesting characters. It's a fun movie. It's not too serious. It's not too campy. It's not too horror until the end. And, you know, that's what I mean about balance and contrast. So even though this isn't as good as the original concept, even though it isn't as scary and atmospheric, it's still a very good. Yeah, it's Beef Death. It's still very good. Of course, John Carpenter is known for sort of campy B movies, but in a very good way. Just like the original Halloween was a little gory, but it wasn't gory like Halloween 2 and other things where they did too many close-ups of the murders and the killings. And that's what a horror movie's supposed to. It's supposed to leave a little bit to the imagination. It's not supposed to gross you out and leave no imagination for you. And that can also add to the fear, that's the point of the movies, is you're not supposed to know every single thing and every single second. Yeah, there's probably a few things wrong with this movie. I don't care, to be honest. I liked it. Usually I don't like violence, but it's a horror movie. It's supposed to have a little bit. And like I said, the characters are good. The contrast is good. The cast is good. Yeah, I mean, and I like it too because it reminds me of the days where you didn't spell everything out and not everything was, you know, let's do this and that and have 10,000 jump scares and all that stuff.
And it was creepy to me. It had a lot of body horror going on, especially the poor puppies. I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, that really tugged on my heartstrings, and then it was like horrible. And but you know, you never expect anything to be alive in the Arctic, in the Antarctic. I mean, except for a few penguins, you don't expect life to be that prevalent down there.
Killer alien penguins. Now we got a movie. You heard it here first.
All right, timestamp Alex there.
Anyway, so what about the fact that this is very similar to, or an homage to that, Doctor Who did an homage to this, called, what was it, The Seeds of Death with Tom Baker. It's sort of the same idea.
Seeds of Doom, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and you get to see this alien. I mean, it's always like who is who, like who is human and who is not human, and that's kind of interesting, and how each part can be, like how one part of the alien can eat one human, and having eaten that one, be eating another and changing into another for another part of it. It's kind of gruesome like that. Anyway, that's probably all I can say to begin with.
Thanks for that. This movie always reminds me of going to the video rental shop in the early 80s, and I always used to get this out. I always used to get this one out, even if it was 2 weeks along the line. I always used to get the thing because I enjoyed it so much. I don't get it out that much these days because I'm getting older now. I'm on about the DVD. But yeah, it's a good concept. It's done well. To me, this is John Carpenter at one of his best. This is where the film company gave him the money, threw the money at him, and you can tell he did put all the money into this. It cost, I think it was about $15 million to make, and it only made about 19. So it was a bit of a flop when it was released. But I'm sure it's made its money back now from DVD releases, on cable and stuff like that. But and it is a cult status now. It has got cult status, and you say the setting as well. The whiteness of the Antarctica, but it's so bleak. The story is a bleak story, but so white. The acting's good. Kate Russell, what Kate Russell does is just brilliant anyway. I have got a question. Is it Wilfred Brimley? Dr. Blair? Was he the Thing to begin with, or did he get impregnated later on in the movie? Because I know he was smashing up the radio rooms, all like that, because he'd found out what this thing was doing to the human body. So they locked him up, and he was locked up for the rest of the movie. But he was making a spaceship underneath. I don't get that. Was he an alien? I don't get it.
I think he was an alien to begin with.
But why smash up everything and destroy the helicopter? Because the thing would want to get around the world and populate the world. I don't get that bit.
No. Okay.
It's a perfect imitation. That's what they said in the movie. They could sound.
Yeah, I know it's a perfect imitation, but why destroy the means to get away from the site? I don't know. It just didn't explain when he was copied, because you never saw him being attacked or anything like that. But yes, I enjoy it. It's a good horror movie, sci-fi thing. And it's a classic thing now. John Carpenter at one of his best. So we'll go for favourite moments or things you didn't like about it.
He froze.
Oh, and you're muted, Beef Dad.
Why doesn't Beef Dad go?
Yeah, go Beef Dad. Might as well.
He's in the Antarctic. That's why he's frozen.
Plus, Frozen is his favourite movie.
What's your favorite moment, Beef Dad?
Goes back.
Has he been?
What's your favourite moment, Beef Dad?
With the dog converting into the creature, that is brilliant. That was just so well done. yeah, the guy losing his head, and then the head growing legs and running around. That made me laugh so much. And then, of course, right at the very end, when the guy that smashed up all the radios and everything turns up there just as they're about to blow it all up. That I went, wow, that really got me. That made me jump. The one other thing that I really, really loved was the music. I love the music for this. They got it's all by Ennio Morricone, and he's such a damn good composer. And I just love the music for it.
Thanks for that, Beef Dad. Brian, what do you like of this movie? Or have you got any dislikes? Because I know you love John Carpenter.
Yes, I do love John Carpenter movies. No, I absolutely have
So I hope you know something about this movie.
I absolutely have no dislikes. Again, John Carpenter movies to me is number one. So, well, firstly, I just like to add, because I love the practical effects within this movie, because, again, you never get to see practical effects pretty much at all now within movies or TV, whatever. So I just want to add that to my thoughts and reviews. So, I think that's one of the things I like within this film. I like all the pretty much all the scenes is practical effects with the thing, like when it comes to the dog or whether it comes to the thing itself turning into a different person. It's all practical, and I absolutely love that. And also with John Carpenter, that I also love is that it's the element of suspense and not blood and gore, and it leaves it all up to the imagination. And with the leaving up to the imagination, he always leaves his movies on a bit of a cliffhanger, and that's why it's leaving up to the audience of guess what happens next within the imagination. So I love that. I forgot to say that before, so I want to add that now. But I think my first favorite moment of the film would probably have to be the thing turning into the spider creature from when they were trying to do when the doctor's trying to bring one of the people back to life, and just opens and closes him to eat his arms off. And I thought that was absolutely one of the best scenes within the film, because again, it's all practical, so that's absolutely the best. Second scene I love would probably be the blood test. So I think that is probably a good. That's probably a cool scene. Judging onto that is they have an absolutely funny parody on that on YouTube about Frozen. I don't know if anybody saw that on YouTube, but that's absolutely hilarious with that on YouTube. But that's my second favorite scene. My third and final favorite is probably when they have to go up against the thing at the end, and and you actually get to see all the different things that the thing that's a lot of times I said the thing, but I get to see all different stuff that he's been morphed into, and it's like this big wormy slug with a dog, a face, and Kurt Russell's character goes up against that, and I thought that was like a cool design of a creature, and I thought that was pretty cool. Low budget of a spaceship, though. It was just like an ordinary flying saucer, but which I think it adds to that, and it is supposed to be a low budget saucer because I think it adds to that for being even more practical effects or designs within this film, and I absolutely love that. I just love this movie. John Carpenter movies, whatever, I love.
Well, that's the most you've ever spoken about a movie, Brian. I've done Beef Dad, done you. Stephen, have I done you?
Oh, you haven't?
Go on then.
Love everything about this movie. Totally brilliant. No dislikes. I would have liked to have seen a sequel, or because they said find out what happens next. I would have liked to seen world population had been infected. I would have liked to seen that. I would have liked John Carpenter to have done that. My dad said, "Why haven't there been a sequel? I want to find out what happens next."
John Carpenter movies is not meant for sequels other than Halloween. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's your big show, Stephen.
My favourite scenes are got to be the spider and the guy that turns around and says, "You gotta be effing kidding." I thought that was hilarious. Another funny part where they're all strapped to the seats and one of them turns around and says, "I know you've been rather busy and been through a lot, but I want to get off this effing couch." I thought that was hilarious, the way he shouted. The effects, just everything about the movie. It's totally brilliant. One of John Carpenter's finest and best.
And we'll go to Susan and Alex.
I guess my favorite moments were when they were outside in the elements, like looking at the spaceship and walking along the lead line so that they didn't get lost in the snow. I thought that was really interesting, and I know that that's probably the way it is down there at the South Pole. And I particularly enjoyed the fact that the dog got away at the beginning and even though it was the alien, I was like, no, don't shoot the dog. Oh my God, that was just too much for me. So yeah, those were my favorite moments. Oh, I kind of like the blood test too. I agree. That was interesting. Here you go, Alex.
Yeah, like I said, I like the structure of the movie. I like the characters. I like the cast. Like I said, it's a very good, very well done B movie, and that's what you need. And unfortunately, I guess the advertising and the design was off, and people were unfairly comparing this to E.T. Why, I don't know. But, great cast, good special effects, characters, story, that's, those are ingredients to a good movie. And he does know how to direct, and he does know how to, make a parody within a horror movie that's still funny without being ridiculous and without, without dragging it and making it interesting, because obviously it has made its money back. I know there's a few film critics who don't like John Carpenter, and I might see their point, but the thing is, he knows how to make an enjoyable, watchable movie with a good cast, good special effects, and that's what a director should do anyway. So even if you don't like the movie, which I do like the movie, and like I said, I appreciate it, and it has stood the test of time. So, I mean, that's, very few movies are perfect, but this is a very good, very well done movie. $15 million, not $500 million like they have to do today, not 10,000 years of advertising, and, that's part of, just like anything, a musician, a singer, or whatever. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. If it's done well, if you can see the talent there, if you can see that it's being put to good use, it doesn't have to be 300 million or 500 million. There's no need. 20 is sufficient.
What I'll say about this movie is I'm not going to pick all these scenes what everybody else has said, because the spider, the chest opener, all brilliant scenes. But one scene is where near the end where Dr. Blair attacks Gary near the end, and his fingers in his face. That is yanking his body away, and his skin's all stretched. That is a very good scene. I also as well, it's left on it's open ended. We know that McCready is going to die in the cold. There's just him and Charles there. But there is a fan theory that McCready handed him the drink, gave him and Charles took the drink. There is a fan theory that he offered him a Molotov cocktail with petrol. So just to see if he was the thing, but we never know because it didn't go any further. So that's just a fan theory, what goes around on the internet, just to discover. Did McCready discover that Charles was the thing? We don't know. It would be nice to have a sequel. I mean, it has been since 1982. It would be nice, but we're not going to get one. So let's go to final say and score if nobody's got anything else to say. Yeah, right, okay. All right then, Brian, you're nodding your head. You go first.
Okay.
High pitched again.
Sorry. Sorry. My final say and score is gonna have to be a 10 out of 10. This movie is awesome, so good. I love it.
There you go. Stephen.
Every time I watch this movie every winter, it makes me cold. Makes me feel cold because of the snow.
Stephen, you're always cold. You live in Wales.
Yeah.
You're cold and wet. Yeah.
It's something else I want to add. I did laugh at Kurt Russell's act.
Yeah, the big floppy hat.
massive cowboy hat. Final say and score. It's got to be a 10 out of 10. Please make a sequel. I know it's been since 1982. And have Kurt Russell in it. Come on, come on, John Carpenter, make another one.
Well, you never know, because he's only just done a sequel to Halloween, hasn't he?
Something else I'd like to add. After watching this movie, I went on YouTube and watched the making of it. Interviews with the director, John Carpenter, everything. It's well worth a watch. The guy that handled the dog in the movie, it spooked him out because the dog trainer would say still to the dog, and the dog would keep still. I noticed that part in the movie. He just stares and just keeps still. That spooked the guy out. And the other part, the guy that the alien came out of his stomach. People, he's since passed. He died in 1997, 1990. They always asked him in the street, what was that part like? That how do they do it? Like, he's always asking questions. People asking him questions like. So it's a solid.
Yeah, I think I might have the document. Yeah, I think I might have the documentary on the DVD. Yeah, I'll have to watch that. Alex and Susan.
Well, the other thing is, I'll give this a 9 because of the cast and because of the structure of the movie and even the effects. But then it might even get a higher score because it has stood the test of time. And maybe we don't need a sequel. Maybe we don't need a sequel. Maybe we don't need a remake. Can we just make a really good movie and enjoy it, please?
No, not a remake. I want what happens after.
Well, I mean, isn't that supposed to be a horror movie? A lot of horror movies were like that for a long time. That you didn't know what happened. Not everything was tied up and resolved and all that. Besides, again, this was made in 1982, and it's 2018? Almost 2019. You're still talking about it. It must be a very good movie.
Okay, well, you said you were going to score it a little higher, so...
No, I said the test of time has made this a higher than 10 score.
Higher than 9 or 10?
Higher than 10.
Higher than 10?
But I give it a 9.
I don't understand. That's all right.
This is how Alex's mind works.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so I'll give it an 8.5. It was all right. It wasn't rubbish, that's for sure. It was very outdoorsy in Antarctic, and I like that. And I like that they mentioned McMurdo Base, which is the main outpost of scientific exploration on the southern continent, which is pretty freaking sweet. Even mentioning that was a good thing for me. And yeah, so an 8.5, whatever.
Whatever. Beef Dad.
Yeah. The extraordinary effects, very well done. Character development was pretty good in this, actually. I quite enjoyed that. Yeah, I think for me, it doesn't quite have the suspense that the original had. So yeah, for me, it gets a 9.
Still a good score. Still a good score. I mean, to be honest, I can't really compare it to the original because to me, it's two different films. It's totally different. It's sort of same settings, but totally different films. But for me, this film, as I said earlier on, it just reminds me of my teenage years sitting in front of the VCR. Good memories, good memories. So, and it is a good film. I enjoy it every time I watch it. So for me, it's a 10. And I'm not biased. It is a good movie. So we'll finish the cast there. Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for the one guy out there who watches these videos. Please leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of the movie.
Thank you, Fred.
Fred in Sheffield. Yeah, how do I forget his name? But yeah, please leave a comment below. let us know what you think of our cast members, because they'd like some what do you call it? Your comments could help them improve their performance on the next casts, because to be honest, some do need improving, don't they, Brian?
Why?
But yeah, but as I said, and if you want to join in this mayhem, we gather every weekend. We sit down, we have a chat, we discuss what we like talking about, really, movies, TVs, whatever, and then we have a laugh. We take the mickey out of each other, but it's all in good, good fun. So yeah, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook. We've got a page, we've got a group. So please get in touch. We need some new members, because some of us are getting on a bit now, and if they are, finding it hard now to get out of bed during the day. So please get in touch and join us. Alid is out of his prison. He's had a short break in prison. He'll be back next week. So hopefully he won't be too distraught for what the movies we are doing next week. But I'm not going to tell you what we are doing next week, because it's a surprise. So until next time,